What's up, guys? Barry Gaming here, back with some more Idle Heroes, and today we have some good information. So the big question that's been going around from everybody, everybody's been like, Barry, when are the next non-transcendence heroes going to get the void imprints? Well, we have news and we have an infographic, and I'm going to throw it up right up over here so you guys can see, yes, we're getting the next 2 of every faction. So pretty much what these are, some people are like, why is Shia getting void imprints when we already have sword flash Shia? Well, that's because literally they're just going backwards based on hero release. So for light, we're getting Bellerin and Faithblade. For dark, we're getting Aspen. I kind of like that one. And Mim could be pretty spicy. He's been falling off. For abyss, we are getting Cthulhu and Nekokia. Neither that I think are really going to affect the meta at all. Shadow, we're getting Gustin and Horace. Maybe it'll make Horace more viable. Maybe it'll make people get Sealand 20 done easier. For Fortress, we're getting Penny and Shia. So I don't see this doing anything for Shia, but maybe for Penny. And again, we're going to go over all these heroes. And lastly, probably one of the most promising faction, Olivia and Garuda. So everybody still got those Garudas laying around. So I'm thinking this might make her meta again, or at least push her towards the end game again. She's still really strong, but what we're going to do now is we're going to jump into the game. We're going to take a look at the skills and see what potentially could change. All right, so I'm going to leave a little infographic right above us here so you guys can see it at any time. But let's start off with the light faction, of course, the one Barry Gaming, of course, cares about the most. We're going to look at Bellerin first. So Bellerin's abilities. I don't know if this is going to make her viable enough, maybe with void imprints, because you got to remember this one right here, this skill is the first one they are going to increase. So she's going to have more HP, more attack, and more heal effect. That could be good. It might be the healing that she needs to give her increased attack and heal effect. V2 is going to be the basic attack, restores 3 random allies for a certain amount of HP for 2 rounds. If they buff that up significantly, it could compete with Ignis. Not sure, of course. Do you really want to take your support heroes up very high in void enables? Probably not. This one could be huge though. V3, when the hero dies, restores 400% HP to all allies for 4 rounds. If this gets a significant boost, I could potentially see Bellerin coming back. But again, if Bellerin makes a comeback, that just means Amon-Ra comes back as well. And then, of course, the active. Is it going to do much? Probably not. Just additional healing, things like that. Do you want to void imprint your support heroes? Probably not. At least not until we get more stellar shards. But we do have the arc coming, which might change that. And, of course, the other one here is going to be Faithblade. So, I'm guessing since Faithblade is very, very unique. So, his stats are actually attached to his third void enable, which everybody else is on their third passive, I should say. For him is very different. Void 1 Faithblade is going to have a passive. The first one, Void 1, is going to be basic attack, targets the enemy with the lowest HP, dealing 200% of armor ignoring damage. So that's very, very poor in today's meta. One target. Yes, it's armor ignoring. It's essentially holy damage in a way. But yeah, it's the first V1 is actually going to increase. Maybe if they really increase it, it could be good. But again, Faithblade is not brought for his basic, so that's kind of a dead in the water here. Blood Nourishing could be cool because this is the one whenever a foe dies, he gains 100 energy, so he can do an active and increases 30% holy damage. Really, the only thing I can see here is maybe something like it increases it by more holy damage. I guess. There's no way they're going to give him more energy. Maybe they'll change it and make it like whenever a foe or ally dies. Now that could be cool. Of course, his third one, Ultimate Faith, is his passives. He can't be stunned. That's one unique thing with him. But those could all be increased. More speed. I mean, maybe. The problem with Faithblade is he's so squishy. And then, of course, his active at Void 4. Void 4ing a Faithblade doesn't sound great, but it is where all his punch comes from. Maybe it'll make it viable, but I am not sure about that. Moving on down the list, let's take a look at Aspen. So, Aspen will be getting more HP, attack, and crit, probably not armor break. Void Imprint 2 is the basic attack. Now this could get pretty spicy because of course his basic hits multiple times, multiple layers will be coming off of them, and then also has a chance to horrify. And then after that, if the target is below 30%, 35%, another layer. So his basic could get really, really strong. Void 3 doesn't seem like something that would be amazing on him unless maybe his soul shelter will stack up faster. That could be cool. And then his active will probably hit like a truck. So I'm kind of interested in taking a look at a Void, like a V4 Aspen, to see if he is viable. We'll definitely try it out on the evil meme team. And then the other one here is Mim. So Mim's going to probably get more HP, speed, and I don't know if he's going to get either of damage reduction or control immunity. That's probably not going to happen. Basic attack, nobody really cares about that, so that's another wasted one. But the V3 is the important one. Whenever a hero on the battlefield dies, deals 200% attack damage against all enemies per round for 2 rounds. So maybe Void 3 Mims are going to become meta. You never know. It could be like a 1000 attack. You never know. It could really hit for a punch. The problem is usually Mim on a normal E5 team just dies so quickly. He doesn't have a chance to actually use this part, the shadow fission, which is the most important part. So do I think Mim will make it back? Probably not. Maybe make him a little bit more viable in interdimensional arena if you void and imprint him. But again, should you be? Probably not. Now, Cthulhu is an interesting one because he is one of the heroes it is decent enough to build to your first E5. It will make one of his good passives immediately happen. More attack. I don't think it'll give him damage reduction, but more attack, more HP is great for him. The second one is pretty strong. The V2 might be big because this is where a lot of his damage comes from. When he takes damage, he burns and bleeds 3 random enemies for a certain percent burning and bleeding damage for 3 rounds. If that damage goes up significantly, that could be really, really big because that's the whole point of Cthulhu. You don't even want him to use his active some of the times. His third passive is the one that's going to make him heal or gain attack based on if the target has a burn or bleed. Not really sure how that one will be. His active, I mean, unless this 2000% of his attack is up to like 10,000 or something crazy, I don't see it really being great. Will it make him better as a first E5? Potentially, because you might be able to do Sealand 20 solo with Void Imprints on a Cthulhu. So you have to think about that. The other one here is Nekokia, attack, crit. Don't really know if Nekokia is gonna fit in. Her damage is very lacking. Her main damage comes from critting and stacking up these like forever attacks. The 15 round bleeds. That's where she gets her punch from. Is it gonna make her meta? I really don't think so. Even though, you know, she does slow the enemies down, the backline enemies, reducing them 30 speed. So if speed becomes really important, like literally the most important thing, I mean, the problem is she's not very fast. I mean, she's not very fast in comparison to the fastest heroes now because we have more heroes coming out with over her speed. I don't think that's going to work. I don't think that's going to be something we're going to be able to do. Gustin, again, basic stats there. When the round ends, has a 50% chance to reduce 30 energy from 2 random enemies. Maybe if that's like 100% and more energy, it could be viable to run some Gustins. I mean, maybe have a full Gustin squad. That could be pretty cool. I have like two carries for Gustin, see how that works out. And then when the battle starts, releases Soul Link. I don't know what they're going to do with this. I'm guessing they're going to increase the damage they take to 100% of the received damage. That's the only thing I can think. And then the active, again, it's not really for the damage, but I'm guessing maybe he will have a higher chance to remove multiple attribute buffs. We'll have to see, but Gustin, again, support hero. Probably not someone you're void imprinting. Now, Horace. Out of this whole list, Horace is probably the number 2 that I feel like has potential. Of course, more HP and attack will be great. Probably block as well. The second one, whenever a hero on the battlefield releases an active skill, increases attack and crit. If that is increased, he's going to start pumping out some damage. Again, PvP, probably not. Crimson Contract is the one I'm really interested to see how it buffs. Every 3 successful blocks, Horace dispels all effects and deals 20% max HP damage. So, if they raise these caps up and increase it, that could start hitting pretty hard. And he might make a comeback in, like, you know, PvE, being one of the top damage dealers. His active, of course, is really good, but where Horace, his bread and butter is Crimson Contract. There we go. I can get it out. So I do really want to see how Horace is going to perform. Next up, though, is going to be Shia and Penny. So Shia, she kind of feels like she's too old of a hero. She's actually one of the oldest heroes on this list with Cthulhu. I really don't think any of these are going to make a difference. You can always hope, but again, the way her abilities work, they just don't do well in the meta right now. Penny maybe can do better if they increase her crit chance maybe even more. Her basic could do a lot more damage, but again, her basic isn't the important part. This right here, V3 is going to be the important one because each crit deals 100% damage against all enemies. This is where she does her big AoE damage. Maybe if the reflection armor does more as well, that would be cool. But yeah, if this could be like 200 or 300%, that could be pretty clutch. And of course, her active is decent, but I mean, all of her damage comes from trickery really anyway. So you have to have her crit for her to do any damage. That's the big one there. Really interesting to see the damage numbers on that one. And then finally, we come down to the last two in the forest. Now, Olivia is interesting. She's really good early game. She's good PvE support. She almost has a spot in the PvP meta a lot of times, but she never really found a home. This could be interesting, though, because I imagine, of course, she'll get more stats here. Aren't you lovely? That one seems like she might shrink multiple targets for 2 rounds. That could be pretty good. Maybe if the shrink effect does more as well, that could be pretty cool. Again, though, it's, you know, it's a support hero. Do you really want to be doing this? I don't know. She does exchange speeds. Fairy Guard could be huge. If that number goes up, that could be really big for your team. But again, a lot of these, like the support heroes, I don't think anybody's going to touch them in Void Imprints until you have all your main damage dealers Void Imprinted out, because that's where you're really going to get it. Same with the active, probably shrink more targets, give more Fairy Guards is my guess. But last but certainly not least, if not anything, the most important is going to be Garuda. So Garuda is going to have more HP, crit damage, and attack. With Void 1 at Void 2, whenever an ally performs an active skill or basic attack, assist to deal extra 250% damage, increases herself by 5% crit. My guess is this might be something like 500%, which at that point, that's starting to hit pretty good. Is it going to give multiple layers of Featherblade? I don't know. Maybe that crit chance will be higher. Those will be pretty good as well. I imagine the feathers themselves will probably be stronger as well. Void 3, whenever a hero on the battlefield dies, restores 30% max HP, gains 2 layers of feathers. I don't think V3 is going to be that important, but V4 could be devastating. This active, you already know, even without Void Imprints, and Garuda being an older hero at this point, this Fatal Feather is fatal. It is devastating to your team, so if that gets to be stronger, ooh. I just really hope it doesn't go over 3 random enemies. I hope this part stays the same. If it goes more, we could be in a ton of trouble. So let me know what you guys think. I am really excited to see how these work out. Now, I think these are coming next week to the Chinese tap server, so beware. I don't think they're coming right away to everybody, but hey, you never know. It might come to everybody, and then if it does, we'll have to test them all out. And I'll probably put out a video of every one of these heroes at V4 so you guys can see how they perform. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you take a second, hit that subscribe button. We're still growing so fast. And I'll see you guys next time.